Hey guys, I am exhausted, but I have to get ready for work and I have to go to the store before work to get stuff for dinner. So I am gonna make myself get out of bed. That has been really difficult this week. Maybe this month, this past 6 months, I don't know. Time is just going at a very quick rate that I can't quite keep up with, and that's okay. I'm just doing the best I can, right? Anyways, God, I'm so tired. Like, I've been having like insane dreams lately, and my friends have been having really strange dreams about me as well, which normally like my friends only dream about me when shit's going on. And here's the thing, I never see myself in dreams, like never. Like I could count on one hand the amount of times I've seen myself in a dream. But like normally never happens. And the other night I saw myself and it was just spooky situation. So I'm gonna put my hair up. I figured I'd just post another little video because I've been so MIA lately. I am back to work tonight for like a week or so. So I'll probably be having more content to post, I'm sure, on like more stuff, like I don't know. I've been really slacking, like school is exhausting me. Hi Hazel. So I've really just been working on like school lately, and I like went to get signed up for therapy again today. But if I don't do it, I think people are gonna be worried. And I don't think it's really gonna help, but everyone's like, you're not open to it helping. I am open to it helping. I'm going, I'm doing it, blah, blah, blah. I just like, it's like explaining my whole story is so long and complicated and like hard to follow if you haven't known me for a long time and been introduced to these characters, and kind of hard to believe at some points and hard to empathize with at a lot of points. So it's just like I don't really feel like doing that, but I will, I guess. And I'm not a big fan of talk therapy. For the fact that it feels a lot more traumatic to me to like relive everything, you know, and kind of like brings all that up to the surface, and then like after 45 minutes they're like, okay, see you in a month, like pat you on the back, and they're like, great, like how do you feel about this? And I'm like, I kind of feel like worse. Like worse, like you brought everything up and then you're like, get out. So I did have one therapist I really loved and adored, and unfortunately she has passed away. Really fun. That happened a long time ago, so like I'm fine, but oh my god, I just poured like so much of this out. Well, oh, I've been using this bio oil. I got it at Target. Go, like, run and get it. Look how clear my fucking skin is. Looks gorgeous. Anyways, so I've been really pessimistic and angry lately, if you can't tell, and I don't know why that is, and maybe that's just because, like I said in previous videos and stuff, I mean, underneath depression is really a lot of anger for me. So that's probably what it is, if I had to guess, but I just don't have the time to deal with all that. Do you know what I mean? Like, but I also don't have the time to be spending my whole life in bed and wasting all my opportunities in life, but whatever. Can only do so much. Oh my god. You guys like are just watching like a quarter of the screen for this Family Guy episode. I love that it's always on in the background. And like here's the thing, I'm honestly, I don't even know if I like the show. I just have to have it on to go to sleep, and like as background noise, even more than The Office. I hate to admit that, but like I've lived with groups of boys a lot in my life. I guess I should say that's a more accurate statement. I've lived with a lot of my guy friends, and I've lived in a lot of shelters, and you know, that are co-ed or whatever, treatment, or all that different stuff, and they're always watching Family Guy, American Dad, or what's the other one, South Park. They used to play at my daycare. Like they used to just play that as like in the mornings or whatever, and I really don't like South Park. Like I won't watch South Park, but I guess I watch Family Guy. I don't like American Dad very much. I think it's weird. But that's coming from someone who watches Attack on Titan. So, I really think I just want to do like a light little beat to this tonight, because, I don't know. I would rather wear makeup to work, so at least I'm presenting like everything is good, you know, and it's not that everything is bad or anything is really bad. I just don't feel great. Like, do you guys ever feel like you're just not a person? Like you're here, but you're not, and I don't know, it's like I'm experiencing my life like I'm in a glass cage and everyone else is outside of it. It's like and that sounds like it'd be so scary, but it's like I'm so detached that it's hard to be very grounded or centered in anything. I don't know. I don't know. I'm gonna try this therapy thing, honestly, and like people are gonna be like, you shouldn't be talking about this on here, blah blah blah, whatever. Like, I would rather be honest about where I'm at, because if we're being honest, this is the time of year every year for the past, I don't even know how long, that this is a pattern for me, and I think it's past the point of calling it seasonal depression, because it's a lot more than that for me. But if this is like a cycle, I don't know what it is. But I have doctors that just literally stop working with me because of this. I've had like 5 or 6 just be like, I won't work with you anymore. And then I've had a lot of doctors lately reject me. And then that is fine. Like, that is something I used to take so personal and be like, they hate me and like blah blah blah. But they don't. It's not that. It's just simply the fact that like a lot of doctors can't handle the borderline. That's okay, or the PTSD either. That's a huge one that like I've had people turn me down for. Actually, fun fact, this is something we can talk about. Did you know if you have PTSD, you cannot donate plasma? Like, at all. And I like went through the trouble of getting reevaluated by a doctor, and they told me a year ago, right? They said literally a year ago, okay, just go get reevaluated and you have to get a note from your doctor saying it's okay. So what did I do? Exactly what they fucking told me to do. And I waited an entire year. So I can't ever donate plasma is what they told me. They like did the whole health screening. I was waiting there for like 45 minutes. Again, I waited an entire year, right? And so I go back and they make me like talk to the nurse or whatever. And she said, well, you can't donate because you have PTSD. And I was like, do you mind me asking why? Because like, is that like, I don't think that affects my plasma. And she said, when you have PTSD, you could become aggressive. You're at risk for being aggressive and causing harm to someone. And I was like, what the fuck do you mean? Like, I was like, are you assuming you're gonna stick a needle in my arm and I'm gonna go into like a Hulk rage? and be like, Hulk smash, and just destroy the fucking plasma center? Apparently so. And so I left and I was pretty upset. But yeah, things like that happen to me all the time, and that's just shit you have to deal with. And I like am hesitant to call it discrimination. I guess it's specifically for me, because I may not be a woman, but I am a white person, which already gives me and I'm female presenting. Like, that gives me insurmountable privilege in situations where people have been really seriously affected and or treated much worse. So I have to take that into account. But when I'm in those types of situations, I'm like, how do you treat other people? You know what I mean? Like, how do you treat someone who is different than me? Like, how would you treat a large man, a POC man that came in there? I don't know. Because, like, to me, it's like, why are we labeled as aggressive? Like, I don't know if your idea of PTSD is like the old war movies where they're like sitting in a cold dark bar with like whiskey, and like their friend comes in and they're like and like rage out and like get up out of their wheelchair and like start going crazy on them. Like, that is not what it is. And I'm not trying to say anything. Don't get me wrong, I think we treat our veterans pretty crappy in this country, especially when they are not serving in the military. They, like, all of my family members have had just a terrible time with the VA, getting their benefits, getting health care, all of the things that happen to them in the Army, and those are things I'm not going to talk about because it's just not my place to speak on it. But what I will say is some really, really horrendous stuff was done to many of my family members that have been involved, and it's just kind of a understanding that they're at the point in their life where they're very, very old to have to be dealing with this stuff that happened to them when they were like teenagers. So like the effects of it are lifelong and affecting multi-generations. So it's like, you know, I'm not saying that they don't have it rough. They have it rough. Believe me, I somewhat understand. But I just don't, even with veterans, I think it's a common misconception of what PTSD looks like, right? Like, what does it look like? Because a lot of times people are so focused on these really like idealized and sensationalized like symptoms that are portrayed in the media and movies and shit to make you seem scared or make it seem edgy or whatever, and you miss the real life signs in somebody, you know, like that is scary. But yeah, hang on, I gotta check my messages really quick. Sorry. I still have time to finish this. No, but I think it's crazy. And so sometimes, like, yeah, I do take it personal that doctors won't work with me because I'm like, oh, it's me. You know, I'm the worst. I'm never, like, no one's ever gonna want to work with me, blah, 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 blah. It's not true, but it's the lies we tell ourselves to stop from getting help. But it's kind of disheartening, because a lot of times what I've had happen when I, like, go to the psych ward, the hospital, the Looney Bin, whatever you want to call it, and have an extended stay, is at first, and keep in mind, you are talking to the patient here, and I may be delusional, but I'm not being delusional about this, okay? Because now when I check myself and I bring people with me to be an advocate, just because otherwise it doesn't really go that well. Usually they don't believe me. They start off by being really hardcore that none of what I'm saying is true. And I am actually not, in fact, experiencing the symptoms I am. Okay, I get it. It's hard to believe that people are hallucinating visually and auditorily, if that's even a word. Auditory, I know that's a word. You know, when you hear and see things that aren't there. That's hard to believe. I get it. You gotta run some tests. You gotta do what you gotta do to back that up. I get it. But then, once they get me upstairs, they switch it to being like, we're not gonna let you leave because, like, you're a risk. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, what happened to you not believing me? you know? So it's just like, it makes my paranoia and the delusions like worse by tenfold, because not only are you locked in a cement box, and like most of the hospitals I've been to, they don't have windows. They have permanent like blinds pulled down between like bulletproof glass. And you don't get to be outside. You don't get to call your family because the one phone on the floor is broken, and the nurses will not let you use the phones that they have access to for the hospital at all. They're not usually the kindest people in the world. The nicest people are usually the advocates or whoever that sit with you at the hospital. I remember one time I was at a hospital here in Iowa, not the university, but I have many stories about that hospital. But I was at a hospital here, and the man in the next room, the police dropped him off. And I had been there about 8 hours at that point, without like food or communication from anyone or access to a phone, nothing. I was just in a blank room with the sheets sewn to the bed. That's what I was in. But I could hear them outside my room at the nurse's station talking about this man who just came in that was obviously ODing, most likely, and had a bunch of, you know, things in his pockets he shouldn't have. And as the police were chasing him about the room, cussing profanities, making fun of him, laughing at him, they got the stuff they needed to get, right, for evidence or whatever. And then when they left, the nurses at the nursing station, including doctors, like ER doctors that are adults, not just like you teenage nurses, your RNs, whatever, were standing at the monitor watching the man next to me who was hallucinating due to usage and clearly like having an episode, like he needed some medication and some serious help, and laughing and taking pictures and recording the screen because he got naked, because he thought bugs were on him. So he got naked because he was scared. Yeah. But anyways, the lighting's terrible. The hospitals here suck, but use them when you have to. That was a little get ready with me. Literally all I did was put on lipstick and highlighter. That's it. I'm gonna go to the store and get some food, have dinner, go to work, lay in bed, go to work again, eat dinner, just the routine. So anyways, hopefully I'll have a more fun video for you the next time. I am just gonna set a time limit with myself that by next weekend I am going to have my video on alchemy up for you guys. Again, I'm not saying by any means it's gonna be educational per se, but accessible. That's the word I'm trying to use. It's more accessible information, and I have a bunch of different links that I'm compiling right now for it, for all my resources. That way you guys can go and make your own conclusions on your own time, because though I'm interested in hearing them, again, I don't want them in my comments if they're negative because I can't take criticism even though I post on the internet. Okay, I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.